Sailors are known for being very superstitious. It is understandable as their profession is very dangerous. Even today, fishing is the job with the second highest mortality rate. When I went to Alaska recently, I saw a memorial with the names of those who had died at sea, and the dates were all recent. If fishing and making a living at sea is dangerous today, think what it must have been like 2,700 years ago, in Jonah's time. A great big sea and a small wooden boat with a bunch of guys rowing as hard as they can. No stabilizers, no life jackets, no lifeboats. No wonder they were superstitious. We are all familiar with superstitions. If you break a mirror, you'll have 7 years of bad luck. Walking under a ladder, a black cat crossing your path, spilling salt, and the number 13 are all things we've been told to avoid. I have been in hotels that omit the 13th floor and ships that omit the 13th deck. We all know that washing your car will cause it to rain and carrying an umbrella will prevent rain from falling. I did a little research to understand what is behind some of these superstitions, because although I've heard them all of my life, I never did know why I should knock on wood. Apparently, good spirits live in trees, so knocking on wood is calling on good spirits for protection. You throw salt over your shoulder for good luck because the devil is standing behind you, and throwing salt in his eye will distract him from causing you trouble. Obviously. The sailors were sure that they or someone with them had done something to offend the gods, and that is why they were facing this calamity. Their superstition told them that they must be very careful to avoid doing things that might cause the gods to harm them. If they avoided missteps and made sure to do only the right things, we'll be okay, they told themselves. Their superstition put too much burden on their own actions and left God out of the equation. They focused only on their own efforts and on gods who were non-existent instead of turning to God, the one who is the creator of the land and the sea. Take a few minutes in your group to answer questions in the Leader's Guide about superstitions and about how that has an impact on your faith. I'll see you back in a little bit. The sailors are desperately trying to fix the situation. They want to make the right decision, but there are several factors that make it difficult. Fear. They are terrified. How can you think straight when the waves are crashing all around you? And anxiety. They are afraid of making the wrong decision. Is their anxiety a result of making a morally wrong choice by throwing Jonah to his death? Or is their anxiety because they are afraid God will be displeased if they choose incorrectly? There's inexperience. They've never done this before. They've never had an experience anything like this. They are in foreign territory and stuck in familiar paradigms. It must have been pretty hard for them to think that the right decision was to throw Jonah overboard. We can learn about discernment and making choices from the sailors' actions. First, they tried casting lots. Now, I know that there are several instances in the Bible when casting lots turned out just right, but it seems to me that that method is easily manipulated and not trustworthy. The sailors did not depend on that method alone. They went on to ask questions to get more information. They conferred with Jonah and with one another, seeking wisdom and understanding. They attempted a solution, and when it didn't work, came back together and asked more questions. Finally, they did the wisest thing of all. They cried out to the Lord, and the Lord saved them. There are many things that we discern in life, and sometimes what we have to figure out is whether or not this problem belongs to us. In the story of Jonah, the sailors had to discern how to handle the situation with Jonah. They are desperately trying to fix the problem, but it is not their problem to fix. It is Jonah's problem to fix. Jonah is the one who needs to turn back to God. The sailors can't do it for him. They finally figure that out and throw him overboard and let him handle his own problems. I've had a lot of conversations over the years with people who desperately wanted to fix their children or their grandchildren or their friends to keep them from making big mistakes. But it never works. We can only fix ourselves. It is impossible to fix someone else, and trying to do so is what they call enabling. Each person has to make his or her own choice to turn to God for the healing and the fixing that they need. Spend some time together reflecting on these things, and remember, the God of love, who longs to save all people, is with you in every storm and in every decision. Be like those sailors and turn to Him.